Thank you for joining us today. It's exciting to be here at Colorado Startup Week. Tell us a little bit about your business. I am a huge fan of Olive Finch, but there's more. I'm only seeing the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of depth under there. So tell me a little bit about it.
There is. So, we started our first location, Olive Finch, in 2013. And I had other restaurants at the time, and they were, fine dining and full service. And so I decided to open up a restaurant next to my Parallel 17 at the time. So I had Parallel 17 on 17th Avenue. And I decided to open up Olive Finch there. And I wanted it to be a restaurant that served breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I didn't want anything on the menu to be more than $13 because I wanted it to be affordable, but I still wanted it to be chef-driven and scratch-made. And so everything in the back of house that we do, everything in the kitchen is made from scratch. It was really important for me to be able to have accessible, healthy, and affordable food, but in an environment that was accessible, right? So you come in, you order from the counter, or you order from a QR code, and then we bring the food out to you. But everything in the back of house is made as if it was a fine dining restaurant. So, 2013, we opened Olive Finch, and nobody understood what we were trying to do. They thought we were trying to open up a fast food restaurant because you order from the counter. And back in 2013, Olive Finch, just the concept, the format was unheard of. And so, we opened up December 3rd, 2013 to a line out the door. And the next year, 2014, we were awarded Best New Restaurant by 5280, by the Westward, and by Zagat. And that was the first time that any casual counter-style restaurant had not just even won, but had been nominated. Since 2013, our early days, we've opened now 4 Olive Finch locations. We've opened also a Little Finch. I like to call it Olive Finch's little sister. It's our cafe all day that focuses on pastries and breakfast items in the morning, but then cocktails at night. But we also have a wholesale company. So it's a company that serves institutional clients. We make grab-and-go meals, pastries, cold pressed juices, and we sell that to hospitals, hotels, grocery stores, and we have a lot of different accounts at the airport. And that actually is the biggest part of our business. It's 60% of our sales is our wholesale business.
In recent weeks, I've had several conversations that have talked about short supply chains. So I'm assuming that you also are buying local.
We're buying local, and I think we're at a point now where we have economies of scale, as you mentioned. So we have really great buying power, and because of that, we are able to buy at really great prices. But because we have this wholesale company, we also control the production and the distribution of our products, and I think that's a part of our secret sauce.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's step back a little bit, because you have not been a restaurateur your entire career. So you started out in finance and working in commodities, and kind of in a corporate environment, right?
Yeah, very, yeah.
So what was this? Was this a brewing passion of yours? And what was the tipping point that made you say, I'm doing it?
Well, I would say first, leaving finance was the scariest thing I've ever done, but also the best thing I've ever done. My background, I'm a first generation Vietnamese American. My parents came here as refugees at the fall of Saigon. So they came here with literally nothing but the clothes on their backs, and they had 4 kids, and my grandmother came with them. And they came here to pretty much give us a better life. And I think that is really something that's stuck with me, and it helps me work harder than I think anybody would normally work because of the sacrifices they've made. But because of that, I think that, in my early days when I was working as an investment banker and then as a commodities trader, while it was really financially fulfilling and it was something that my parents were really proud of, I didn't find the connection. And now in retrospect, 20 some years later, I think about okay, well, what has driven me to hospitality? And I think about those moments when I was young, and I would never see my parents because they were working all the time. But when I did see them, maybe it was once a week, and we would have dinner together as a family, all of us together. And that connection and that those times where you're enjoying a meal, like that really was something that stuck with me. And so as I was going through my career in finance, I was like, well, this is really great, but I'm missing something. And the funny thing is, like, I didn't even start cooking until I started cooking for myself in college.
You're kidding.
Yeah, and so I decided in 2001 to leave finance because I wanted to learn how to cook and I wanted to open up a restaurant. And so I did that.
So Olive Finch, we found out that there's a lot more than what we see on the surface.
Yeah.
And you've scaled, but you've scaled, it looks like, really in an organized and thoughtful manner. And you're going to continue to scale. So can you talk to me about lessons in scaling and how you look at this so that you're making good business decisions and yet you're not stifled by fear of growing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think for me, scaling, especially in hospitality, it's really, it has been one of the hardest, but also most eye-opening parts of building my business. I think people assume the challenge is replicating food, but actually that's the easy part. What's harder is really translating the heart of a single neighborhood location and being able to put it into completely different environments. And I think if you look at our cafe Little Finch on 16th Street, or our location in Cherry Creek, or our location at Union Station, or the Arts Complex, I think that each space has its own rhythm and it has its own demands, but the guest, what's important is that they feel the same way. Right? Because I think what hospitality is also community. Like, we are a part of neighborhoods. We are a part of activating those neighborhoods, and we do that by creating community. And it's important for you, Frannie, to come in and to feel the same thing, whether it's in Union Station or the Arts Complex or Cherry Creek or Uptown. And I also think that as I've been able to scale, we opened our first location in 2013, it's 2025. We now have 7 locations, we have 300 employees. We're about to open up, 5 more locations within the next 18 months. And the biggest lesson for me, being a founder of a small business, was really making sure that I was building a team around me that I could trust to be able to do the things that I could do. Because just because it's my business doesn't necessarily mean that I'm the best manager, right? Or the best chef, or the best marketer. And so when you're scaling a business, you have to remember, like, what is your role? And for me, I'm the founder, and I think that I have the vision of where we're going. And I have to be able to make sure that I'm inspiring and motivating everyone around me so that we have the shared vision to be able to go after that goal.
All right, so if we look at, if you ran into somebody who said, I want to start in the restaurant business and here's my concept,
yeah,
what would you tell them? What would your big piece of advice be about jumping off on this?
Yeah, well, first, know your why and hold on to it, because it's not going to be easy. Like, this industry, it's going to test you in ways that you really can't imagine. I think that you have to really understand what you're walking into, because the hours are long and the margins are they're laser thin. And I think that, people see busy restaurants, or they see, shows on TV, or they see Top Chef, or, this or that. And it's very glorified, right, in what we do, because you're just throwing a party every day, it's like having a great party at your house, right? It's like, well, why can't I do this, every single day? But it's a lot harder than just cooking and hosting. I think that if your why is just, I want to own a restaurant, I don't think that that's going to carry you through all of the hard nights. And, I think that if your why is about something bigger, maybe it's sharing flavors that you grew up with, or maybe it's creating places for people to feel seen and to be seen, or to be a part of a community, or to provide something for the community, then I think that will that will really carry you when you want to give up.
Mary, it was great to sit down and talk to you today. I really appreciated it. And one of the things that was kind of an aha that you said really early was that you really created a market. We had a vision of a counter ordering to be coupled with fast food and not so healthy.
Right.
And you overcame that. And I have been to 3 of your restaurants, the one at DCPA, the one in Cherry Creek, and the one on 17th. Each has a unique feel, but what is so much that's consistent is that I've always felt welcome. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. That means a lot.